In the United States, a corporation's capital is referred to as capital stock or share capital. It represents the value of the investment in the capital of the corporation. What is interesting is that there is no mandatory minimum capital. So the sum of $1 can be the starting capital. On the other hand, unlike what is done in Europe, the amount of the capital stock is never mentioned in the description of the company. Regarding the type of shares of a corporation, there are mainly two. On the one hand, there are the common shares. These shares almost always give the right to vote. They are often called control shares. In particular, they allow the election of directors. On the other hand, there are preferred shares. These generally do not give the right to vote. However, they are entitled to a preferred dividend that is usually payable before any dividend can be declared on the common shares. Also, please note that there may be several classes of preferred shares, with specific rights for each. Finally, we must distinguish between the authorized capital and the issued capital. The authorized capital stock is the number of shares that the corporation has the right to issue, which is indicated in its articles. The issued capital stock is the number of shares that the corporation has actually issued to shareholders. For example, XYZ Inc. has an authorized capital stock of 1,500 common shares. Then, the company issues 100 shares in your favor. This represents the issued capital stock. This leaves 1,400 common shares available for future issuance. As for the LLC, its capital has various names: membership capital, member capital, or LLC capital. Again, the term refers to the initial investment in the LLC's capital. As with a corporation, the minimum required capital is usually just $1. In the case of an LLC, we refer to units rather than shares. There are a variety of names: LLC interest, LLC units, membership interests, and membership units. Unlike a corporation, an LLC does not have an authorized capital. Therefore, an LLC can usually issue as many units as it wants. Finally, here are 3 points you should remember. Point 1. In some situations, it may be beneficial to consult a U.S. lawyer, accountant, or tax expert before establishing the authorized capital stock of your corporation. For example, say you want to create a class of shares to attract potential investors. In such a case, a qualified professional will be able to assist you. Point 2. Perhaps your corporation has key employees whose services it wants to retain for many years. In this case, it may be advisable for the capital stock of your corporation to have a class of shares designed specifically to attract this type of employee. Once again, a qualified professional can assist you for that purpose. Point 3. In the case of a corporation, it is often preferable to limit the authorized capital stock. An overly high authorized capital stock can have a negative impact on the amount of the annual franchise tax, as we will see later on.